Hey guys, Scott Payne from PM Master Prep, and in this video, I'm going to teach you all about the importance of the resource management processes. There are 3 of them in the executing process group. Now, more specifically, I'm going to teach you why these 3 processes matter, okay? And then as you go through it, I'm going to help you understand what is actually accomplished in these 3 processes. And lastly, I'm going to explain how, through these 3 processes, we're going to build high-performing teams that are built, developed, and managed to succeed through this process. Okay, so let's jump into the details. All right, so now we see that we have dropped down from quality down to the resource management. And, you see that we have 3 processes in the resource management knowledge area and executing process group. Now, before we go further, I want to remind you that the executing process group is worth 31% of your entire PMP exam. Now that's pretty awesome, right? So 31% are going to be covered by this small number of processes that we have here. And that's really awesome because now we're going to talk about 3 of this small number of processes. So if we think about it, 3 of the small number of 31, we have a lot of opportunity to get a lot of questions right just by knowing these 3. So just to remind you on the resource management, there are 6 total resource management processes in the entire PMBOK. You're never going to be asked for the number of them, but it's good to know how much of the information we're covering here. We've already done 2 of them previously in the planning process group. We did the plan resource management. That's where we made the resource management plan. That makes sense, right? And then we did estimating activity resources. That was the other one. And that's where we said, this is exactly what we think we need for the project. Now, as far as resources go, here is where we actually acquire them, develop them in terms of a team, and manage it. Okay, so let's talk about the objectives that we're trying to achieve or that we're going to achieve in these 3 processes. Primarily, we're trying to obtain, develop, and manage a team, resources, and procurements to complete all the project work. As we know, 4.3 way above, that's where the work gets done. That's where the team gets to work and does these things. Here is the actual workers that produce the work. Pretty cool. Now, also, if you look in the statement above, it says team, resources. So we're talking about physical resources in addition to our team members, right? So we can have equipment, different kind of machinery, whatever that we need to complete, software, whatever that we need to complete our project. That's where all those things are acquired in here. If they're acquired internally, they're here. If they need to be we need to have procurements to get it from outside. We're going to do that in 12.2 down below. But right now we're trying to get everything we need to complete the project. All right, so let's talk about the outputs that are going to be produced. All right, so in doing this, in acquiring, developing, and managing our team, we're going to produce project team assignments, and we're going to also have the assignments for the physical resources. That makes total sense, right? We're pulling in all these resources, both the team members and the actual physical resources. We've got to have the assignments of them and the resource calendar. The resource calendar is saying specifically the availability of our resources by shift or by day, okay? So those are the things that we're going to produce in going through these things. Additionally, as we start getting into actually developing and managing our team, think about what you would produce. You'd have performance assessments. So you're going to be developing your team, counseling them, assessing their capabilities in different areas. And as you do that, you're going to have assessments that you're going to give to the team members. You're going to store in the team. And that's how you're going to help get things better. So those are the big outputs for this process. Now, a couple points of focus that we need to talk about. The human resource process right here in the executing helped translate the resources that we needed and that we identified earlier in the resource breakdown structure. Remember, it looks hierarchical. It's all the resources that we need into the actual team that we need to execute these processes. So we're taking that resource breakdown structure, the RBS that we made earlier, and we're actually translating it into what we need to do the project. That's key. And as you think through these 3 processes, just see that work breakdown structure or the resource breakdown structure go into the actual physical resources, how it molds into that. So that is how you organize your brain. What are we actually trying to accomplish and how are we doing it in the executing process group? All right. And so obtaining, developing, and managing the team, you know this, requires significant soft skills, right? Negotiating, communication, conflict management skills, and we're going to go through these in more in depth in these three different processes down below. So you're going to learn all about those different soft skills that you need to master, or that they're going to ask you for in the PMP exam. How would you evaluate this situation? How would you react to this situation? What would the project manager do next? All those things are going to be informed by the information that we discussed down below. So we've gone through this top to bottom. What are we trying to do? How are we trying to do it? Why are we trying to do it? We know that we're producing project team assignments, physical resource assignments, the resource calendar, and as we develop our people, we're going to have assessments of the team performance, okay? So the next step for you is to go through each individual video, also go through the John video, take the quizzes at the end, and keep pushing forward. Remember, executing process group is how much? 31% of the exam, so it's a big deal. So let's go jump into it. I'll see you in the choir team, and let's keep pushing forward. You're doing great. Keep going.